Okay. Do you guys want to go to class? I'll meet you guys there when we come to my office.
I'm gonna text us.
My name is Akash Sharma. Today's date is January 31st, 2025.
What is your favorite part of being a near-peer mentor?
There's a lot of things. I wouldn't say there's this one specific thing. Working here has been like the biggest blessing ever. I get to work in an environment where we focus on helping youth gain education, gain daily skills. I could have the worst day of my life and the next day I could show up to Roosevelt and I will be all smiles just because that's how this place makes me feel. And that's how the students make me feel.
You might want to put it in the middle, maybe draw like a little line and put that one.
It's great. It's great. It's the best thing ever.
My name's Angela Nusom. My official title, I guess, at the district level is Assistant Director of College and Career Readiness.
The other piece is that for this grant application, we have to get a perfect score and a perfect score on the...
For me, I feel like my role is more about bringing together all of the people who care passionately about young people, about justice and education, who believe that educational transformation is possible and who are willing to kind of put their hearts into trying new things and developing creative strategies to engage, connect students, nurture and support teachers, and just make schools a better place.
We can add schools after we're awarded the grant.
So I see my role really as creating a gathering space for people who believe in these aligned ways to come together and do the work. And that there's no job title for that.
I know, that's totally what it made me think. Oh yeah.
One of the core tenets of the design was that it should be evolving, right? So sometimes there's a design that's so static that people feel like, okay, what we say in year one has to be exactly the same in year two, exactly the same in year three, as opposed to evolving as communities evolve, as environmental factors influence, as individual people change and grow, as we learn new things, etc. So having a team who value that and who don't feel overly stressed out by an evolving kind of design is really key also.
My name is Jenny Cha. I'm the program manager of the Near Implemented program with GEAR Up, and I've been with GEAR Up for 12 years.
Before we do the next half, which is around brainstorming recruitment strategies and recruitment materials.
I would say the biggest change was in 2018 when we went from school-wide support to classroom-based. And really was because we recognize that the classroom is where change will happen.
By 2018, there was a lot of learning that happened around both how do we create the infrastructure for a near-peer mentor program that's sustainable? Number one, how do we make sure we're effectively training the near-peer mentors? How do we make sure that we're effectively supporting the near-peer mentors while they're also in college? How do we address all of the disruptive factors, like when young people come back into schools, oftentimes they're mistaken for students, so they can be treated not as young professionals, they can be treated as other students. Like, how do we try to mitigate some of that and really build up the leadership of young people serving as mentors? And that became a focus.
The notes, consolidate it, and then regroup on the 7th, and then we'll do action plans starting when we come back in April.
We had the infrastructure for the Near Peer Mentor program and felt really solid about that. We had some training for teachers, but we didn't have infrastructure around how do we provide systemic, sustained, and kind of accountable supports for teachers to grow in their practice. We need to have teacher coaches. We have near peer mentors. We have folks who can support near peer mentors. How do we support teachers?
Hey y'all, we're going to get you started on your time with your TOSAs. We have a lot planned for you. We're going to take over the next...
When this position opened up at GEAR Up for a TOSA instructional coach, it spoke to me in so many different ways. The central part of it is to be a partner side by side with classroom teachers. And that means to be responsive to each individual teacher.
We want you to keep it and be authentically you and channel that energy into creating the workshops that you imagine with the students for the rest of the year. So we're going to give you some examples of that today.
The creative side, of helping teachers design their curriculum, experience something in the classroom with you in a safe way where you can consult and rethink, redesign what you're doing in the classroom.
How do we love up on our teachers? And so literally part of the job description for the TOSA, we use that language, like how do we love up on the teachers? It's written into the actual role description that part of it is to love up on teachers. And how do we do that? By whatever means necessary. Sometimes that's chocolate and coffee, sometimes that's a listening ear, sometimes that's formal coaching and training. It looks a variety of different ways, but it is strengths-based at its roots. How do we believe the best about our teachers so that we can build from their strengths, just like we would with students?
My name is Randy Scott. I work at Roosevelt High School in North Portland, and I teach engineering and robotics. I think I was one of the first partner teachers on board. It just sounded like a really good opportunity to have a mentor in the classroom, a college student who's very focused on connecting with students and their pathway after high school, and every one of them brings something new and different into the classroom. And if I were to think about what my curriculum and projects and instruction would look like if they had never been there, I think it would look a lot different.
Every new thing that a teacher is able to acquire skill-wise, every sort of deepening of compassion or understanding of young people, deepening understanding of cultural difference and how that influences the classroom, etc., impacts far beyond the class that they're teaching in the moment. And so that became the focus, that we're going to hire TOSAs to provide ongoing coaching and support for teachers. Drafting out a design of what the family engagement component of this grant would look like, it was a community organizing model. It was, if we can build power between groups of families across culture, across difference, across school, build their networks, because families already have natural networks. So how do we tap into the natural networks of families? Then how do we build capacity of those natural networks of families to push against, to ask questions, and to engage with? How do we support families in infiltrating the system? That's the language that we would use. That was the intended design.
My position is Build Parent Organizer. Build means building undergraduates through inclusive leadership development. In the schools that we represent is Roosevelt, Jefferson, and McDaniels. It's a 9-month leadership development program for parents. We do workshops like parent-teacher conference, parent-teacher home visits. We had mentors do a workshop so parents can meet them and tell about what they do. We've also done on the Unite Oregon side, like advocacy. We have one coming up for grant writing, testimony trainings, like all different types of stuff, school sides, and then, advocacy and all that type of stuff.
The families are experts on their children. They're actually experts in education in different ways than educators, right? So an educator gets training in teaching content and in facilitating lessons and in the educational system, but a parent has moved through an educational system. They're navigating the educational system with their child, so they have their own expertise in terms of the educational system too, right? It's just a different expertise. There's not a structure to enable those two expertises to come together in a meaningful way.
A lot of underserved people need the help and the information and the resources that Gear Up and that Build brings to them. And by me calling and reaching out, anybody I see in a neighborhood or whatever, a BIPOC community, I'm reaching out, I'm telling them about stuff, giving them my number, business card, whatever, and they don't know, and they're very glad and thankful about it.
Until we say families are high on the priority list in terms of partnership, we can't serve students best unless we collaborate with them. Teachers can't teach students at their best unless they collaborate with families. Schools can't provide meaningful educational environments for students without families. Until we say that and commit to that and fund that, we're just kind of spinning our wheels.
Do you have resources that you'd like to see or people that you need to connect with? Just let us know. You don't have to.
2014 was born the actual design for what is now the E3 model, and we called it Mobilizing for College. And we used language mobilizing because of, again, the organizing principle. How do we gather the people who have these shared beliefs and values about the power of young people, about the power of families, about the power of educators, and really the power of that triumvirate. Like if we bring families, students, and educators together, that really being the force behind educational change. Engage, empower, elevate is the actual acronym. And that just came out of a discussion of like, what are we really doing?
More questions can come as you process. But there's one more piece of information that I also need to share, which is that in reviewing all of the data to write the application,
sometimes organizational development and in education, we don't think about what are all the steps in a process, and we expect everything to happen simultaneously rather than there are actually phases, right? There's engagement of students, there's engagement of near-peer mentors, there's engagement of teachers, there's engagement of schools, right there at all these different levels. The first phase is always engaging the folks in the process and inviting them in.
My name is Gloria Zawadi. I am a senior at Roosevelt High School in North Portland. Currently, I have a near-peer mentor in my senior English class, and my mentors are Karina and Akash. In the classroom, there have been moments where there's like certain concepts and topics that I don't understand too well, and I would ask my mentor for help, and they would like explain it in more detail and like put it in more simpler terms so I can understand it better in a way that a teacher would not be able to do.
Understanding the message that is being given or shared with the audience, and think outside the box and look at the bigger picture. Like right here, somebody's taking a deeper dive into a book.
The mentors give us a lot of academic support. They give us insight on like assignments and questions from a more college-like perspective, if that makes sense. And they also give us a lot of snacks to keep us focused in class. They're kind of like an older friend to me. Like you can go to them for advice, you can joke around with them, and it's just like a familiar face to see in the hallway that, you know, brightens up your day, makes you feel a little bit better.
How do you engage those students and get them to feel comfortable enough to participate and still have fun in whatever capacity that looks like for them?
My name is McCann McGuire. I am a Roosevelt near-peer mentor. I've been working here for over 6 years now.
My whole thought in this is there will be times, a lot of times when you're working with youth or volunteering with youth.
When I'm walking in the building, when I'm walking to the next period, and there are students from my classes that'll say hi to me. And that's such like a small thing, but even just the fact of they remember me enough and enjoyed me being in their classroom enough to where they want to talk to me and say hi. And that's even better when it's a student from last year or the year before that.
Different students need different things, and not every student can go to a teacher and like get what they need from said teacher. And I think like having different mentors in your classroom can help be an outlet for those students who don't feel like 100% comfortable with their teacher or don't think that they can get what they need from that teacher.
It's been really great having someone in the classroom who can be 100% focused on the students who are in that room right now. And that's one of the big, I think, assets that the mentor brings.
I've seen like teachers and mentors collaborate in classrooms where we've had mentors teach a class for a day or teach certain lessons for that class. Even when there times in class where a mentor isn't necessarily teaching, the teachers still make sure that the mentors are acknowledged and that the students are aware that they can use the mentors as a resource.
People that worked in this building that made the building, okay? It's the people, and so when you all graduate...
When I first became a TOSA on the team, we were at like the infancy stages of recruitment, where we were trying to recruit different teachers, and now 6 years later, we have a coalition of partner teachers and parents, and also we're at so many different schools now. When we first started, it was very targeted at just what we would call gear up schools, and now it feels like there's mentors at every high school.
What's up, everybody? I'm Steve Smith. I am going to be at Franklin, Zoom, Grant, and Roosevelt Rangers.
The work that we do is more so around inclusivity, making sure that students are whole, making sure that families are at the table when it comes to things like decision making. When you're in a classroom and you're kind of observing and you're working with teachers and you're seeing, the engagement levels, my role as a TOSA isn't necessarily around trying to go over the minutia of a teacher's their curriculum. But if I'm seeing students that are not engaged, my work with the teacher is going to be on engaging those students.
We have formal collaboration time, but also just during the class periods, right? We just kind of worked out a system where we can just kind of touch base with each other.
And me and Mr. have both been in our roles for so long that I feel like we're both pretty comfortable planning things quickly and kind of on the fly.
Myself, the mentor, and the teacher would talk about some of the things that they think are going well. I would talk about some of the things that I notice happening in the classrooms.
Empowerment is basically their job in life.
Some of the things that I would discuss, I would ask in question form. So, hey, I noticed that there's some students that were kind of quietly sitting over here. Do you feel like they're comfortable? Do they know what's going on? And I would kind of ask the teachers questions to kind of probe them, to kind of get them thinking about things that they can do or maybe try differently. And because we're not tied to any one curriculum, I can really just focus on letting the teacher be the expert of the content and me kind of taking more of a role as being kind of your thought partner on things about, hey, what is your plan this year to get families involved?
I recruited the parents from my Build program to come there, and they got a sense of what Europe is like. They got to see a lot of some of the teachers, the mentors, and they got to hear about what everybody do, and they was like excited because for them to see for themselves, it was a really good thing. So I think my role is very important to bring them into it so they can see what goes on like behind the scenes.
The Build program is one way to be like, hey, do you know what's going on in school? Hey, there's going to be this event. Do you want to participate? Or even invite them to be part of whatever event the school's having. So if you're not connected with school, you don't know what's going on with your kids sometimes. Not every parent can log into a website. Not every parent has access to internet.
If a Build parent needs something, it don't matter what time it is. It don't matter what I'm doing. I'll hurry up and finish that. I'm right there. I've been to baptisms, I've been to funerals with them, been to birthday parties with them, I've been to family functions with them. Like, it's just being there for them in a time of need where they need someone and they feel like they don't have nobody else. They call me and I'm always there for them.
Once they're engaged, engagement is not enough. If we just engage students and only engage students in the classroom, students and teachers would be friends, but students wouldn't necessarily become empowered. They wouldn't necessarily learn anything. They might have nice relationships, but if we just stop at engagement, then it feels good, but it's not necessarily transforming anything. So the next phase then is around empowering. So now we're engaged, so we have, because engagement also implies like there's some level of reciprocity, there's some relationship, there's some trust, we've done some work to come together. Then becomes the empowerment process.
Chaperones with each of your groups. Once we get in there, make sure you're with your color group and be really kind.
My name's Paige Hazard. I teach at Cleveland High School and I teach 9th grade modern world history and IB social and cultural anthropology, which is an elective course that juniors and seniors can take for 1 or up to 2 years. The material support that Gear Up provides, like, oh, you're planning a lesson, like, how can we help? What can we share with you? Who can we bring in to like add to it? I think Gear Up has done a really wonderful job of making mentor teachers feel supported.
My name is Noelle Tamez, and I'm the Gear Up TOSA for Jefferson High School. We looked at what you had brainstormed and groups, like the different topics that you talked about. So when thinking about today, and I feel like for this role specifically, the reason why I liked it is because I can meet teachers where they are, build a relationship and trust with a colleague, and then really just kind of get to know each other. Also being able to affirm all of the things that they already do that are great.
My interest in working in more like energizers and group community builders. Like this TOSA brought so many ideas, and after every meeting I was feeling more inspired to like try a new thing. They just brought really wonderful energy, but on top of that, they would always come with like, hey, we were talking about community builders, so I brought you this book that I always really used, and that's the book that I continue to like go back to, or like mindfulness cards.
My name is Jamie, and I work at Jefferson High School, and I am a new mentor. I am going to school to be a history teacher for either middle school or high school. I had no prior experience working in PPS. I just thought that this was like a cool entry-level position that would not only like help me learn how to like do classroom management and socialize with students, but also figure out like what it means to be an educator and how that reflects in the practice. I, tend to be really professional in the jobs that I do have, but the students need a little bit more to hold on to. They need like an actual person to get to know, to like actually open up and like want to talk to you.
So basically, I just want you all thinking about what it is that has influenced you to be who you are today, and what do you want to do?
When you're constantly telling someone what they're doing is wrong, it's not going to produce great results. Your job is not to give them more uncertainty. I think it's always important to validate and empower the other like artistic decisions that they're doing. They're way more receptive to that.
If I'm doing well to engage my students, then the next phase is I'm empowering them to challenge my authority as a teacher. I'm empowering them to question what I'm doing. I'm empowering them to push on me as a teacher to do better. I'm empowering them to be honest with me about what it is they need.
Having a mentor is just, it's good for everybody. It can take a load off of the teacher. It makes students more confident to ask questions.
If there's a question on a lesson or something, she'll come right next to me and she'll just walk me through every step.
I'm able to like connect with them in a way where it kind of makes them care a little bit more about the everyday things that they're doing in academics, but also like knowing the students more personally. We're just like a little scope into their lives and like how that translates to them being in the classroom.
It's easier to bridge the gap between you being a student and then the teachers, because she kind of has her foot in both camps, but she's not like so much older that she can't like relate to what we're doing. Like she was going through the process we did, not even 5 years ago. So just talking to her about her experience and how things went for her, how she got through the college stuff, just how she schedules herself. It's just, it's very informational about what the future might look like for us. You can just talk about things going on in your life and she's gonna relate, and she can talk about things going on in her life and it'll all kind of make sense in contrast to talking to an older teacher who might just have such different life circumstances at this point.
She's a part of the community already. Like, I view our AVID class as like a little family, and she fits right in.
She does care, like she genuinely does care about her students and wants them to be recognized for the things that they're doing good in the classroom.
In terms of the student role, at the most obvious level, I see every student as a potential mentor, ultimately. But then within that, I see the role of mentors, partner teachers, TOSAs, and everyone who's affecting the classroom is to create those environments in which students are able to step into a leadership role over their own educational environment.
I see myself as an advocate, and because I have the ability to be in spaces with people who are in leadership roles, I feel like I have a responsibility to really use that space to voice what teachers and students are asking for. So when we have meetings with admin or district leadership, really doing whatever I can to put the issues and things that are needed in front of them. They were like, well, pull through. And I was like, that's amazing. Showing up however the teachers and students need, and using the connections that I have and whatever tools that I've been able to build up as a teacher myself to help make the learning experience better.
Family engagement is the most important thing because the families have to stand behind their kids. And for family engagement in the school, it's good to have the parents' participation. It lets them know what's going on. It lets them know that they can be a part of it too, like they're not being left out or anything. That inclusion is really good. Family participation is the best thing. And they can tell other parents to come along who might kind of be hesitant and be like, oh, I had such a good time and they feed you good and we got swag. That is very important. It's a sense of community, you know, and it's like come together as one, you know, to better help your child, the school, and other people's children. You know what I'm saying?
We could do a lot more if we tapped into expertise like parents, like for roles in schools that are really about finding resources for families. There's no one who knows how to navigate finding resources than someone who has been forced to navigate that in their own life.
For parents that sometimes we as parents are too focused on working and doing other things that don't know what's available for us to help our kids at home.
I was a single parent, so I'm like, I know I'm right there with them, you know, and I'm telling them, like, if I can do it, you can do it.
Everything is possible. Achieve and follow your dreams, and the best thing you can always do is bet on you. Bet on you.
What has kept you passionate about Gear Up for so long?
Oh, wow, it's the people. Oh, yeah. I mean, there is nothing more powerful to me than watching people who have grown up and through this program, having so many folks stay in the fold.
I became a mentor in 2013, supporting the students, doing like groups and being in the classroom, getting students to complete their graduation requirements. And then the last year I ended up taking it off because I was getting my bachelor's and I wanted to focus on school. Angela had reached out again and just offered me a part-time position to be a coordinator at Roosevelt, and I took it. And so I just wanted to make sure nothing changed between now and then.
No, because like, I mean, he's kind of bouncing around between like what he wants to do. Like, yeah, he has to.
After that, went into this supervisory position overseeing the near-peer mentor program. And at that time, it felt really surreal. Like, I didn't feel like I was ready to oversee the program that I was a part of for so many years. And it was due to a lot of trust and a lot of belief that people had in me to tell me, like, you can do this. And now I oversee the program at a manager level and get to see the implementation across the schools that we serve.
Yeah, like being able to give a presentation and speak in front of
I feel like each role that I've had has really taught me a lot about what I know and what I didn't know, and has really shaped me, because I think without the perspective, I wouldn't be the person I am, but also I wouldn't have the insights that I do have. And so I've been really humbled to know that, like, I've seen the program grow in so many ways.
I refer to Jenny often because she's the clearest, longest, example. Her growing through so many different roles, but we see that same model in, mentors who've turned into CRs or mentors who've become AmeriCorps members. Simone's been connected almost as long as Jenny has.
My name is Simone. I have been with Gear Up almost 10 years in total. My current role is a Equitable Pathways Coordinator. I started off as a mentor, and I was working at Roosevelt, and then I was one of the first AmeriCorps members that was coordinated into the middle schools. And so now currently I support the program as a whole, but my main focus is to provide professional development and training and support to the mentors.
Maria has been connected for a long time, and that folks want to stay connected through different roles and through the tumultuousness of an evolving program. To me, that's just really powerful, and I think it speaks to the nature of building authentic connections.
My name is Maria, and I am an Equitable Pathway Coordinator. and I have been with Garrett for 5 years. I started off as a near peer mentor. I support the program as a whole. My main focus is around recruitment and hiring.
What people will say is how different it feels to be part of the Gear Up team than other teams they've been a part of in education. They've never had a job that feels like this. I think for mentors, it has to do with the superior supervision skills and personality that Jenny has as a leader, and that she funnels through her team of AmeriCorps members into mentors.
What has kept me passionate about being and staying Gear Up for so long is it's the people. I am such a huge proponent that you have to love the people you work with, because so much of this work is it's hard work, right? And you can't just go home and feel like this is it. So much of the work is around who you know and who you're working with. And so having been a part of Gear Up, there's been a lot of people that's been with me since day one. We've grown throughout the years, and people have come and gone and have returned. And I think having the people who have been here just really helps me know that this is a family.
I want you guys to go tap someone on the shoulder who made you laugh today. You can tap as many people as you want.
I know that I can trust the people I work with, and when we struggle together. And so just the people here have really helped me stay motivated. Our program that we worked with has always centered our youth and our teachers. I think that belief in that value that our program has, I feel like I'm in the right place. I know I'm doing the right work, and down the road I'll see the impact of it.
I would say what kept me passionate is really seeing the impact of the work that I've done, and watching all of my students graduate and seeing them out and about. I feel like a lot of other programs really try to do what Gear Up does, and they're very unsuccessful. But I feel like Gear Up really understands that the impact of having near-peer mentors, having school alum into their buildings and working with their partner teacher, it builds a different type of relationship, and it really makes students really understand that community is important.
How students grow in confidence, but also mentors taking on leadership role and just growing. I really appreciate and love the fact that Gear Up truly values, but also believes in the students that they can seek higher education.
Tap somebody who has supported you throughout this journey of either being a staff member with Gear Up or being in your program.
I've grown so much with the program. I've seen so many things, and I got to experience so many different levels of education. I think what I'll take away is just the memories, all the amazing things that we were able to do, all the people and lives that we were able to touch, and all the students that were able to, come through the program, our teachers. So I think that is the biggest takeaway, just those memories that I hold. For the mentors, I just want to say thank you to all the mentors who I think for all the mentors who took a leap of faith and continued on the program that I was so fortunate to start. I'm grateful for everyone who came through and who just continued on the work. I just remember being a group of 6 of mentors who were all alumni of Roosevelt who just wanted to give back. And there were years where I wasn't sure where we were going, and I didn't know if what we were doing was impactful. And I think the years that we kept growing, and people kept believing and were wanting to be a part of something bigger. So I'm so happy to see where we are, and I know that we've had challenges, but I'm so grateful that there are people who believe in this work, and when I get to see them light up because of their kids, or get to have a very difficult conversation with the teacher about what they're seeing that's not fair, that makes me so happy, because that's the work that I've been a part of for so long.
It shouldn't be such a struggle to feel human in a workplace or human in a job where, your family matters or your, experiences of health and mental health matter, and where there is genuine care and concern for each other, and people who will pick up for others when they're experiencing challenges and show grace, when people need it.
If you were able to witness GERP in some way, whether we were walking in the hallway or you got to see us or attend an event or a luncheon, just know that GERP, we walked with love and we walked with service. And so if the community gets to see that and know that this was a powerful group of people who came together, who loved each other, and who cared for their community and did what they were able to do, that makes me happy to know.
We've navigated through a lot to be where we are, and I think the stable piece that always has been there has been this kind of united passion. It always feels like there's a resiliency to it, like there's a coming back. Then after we empower, then as a program or as an organization, it's our job to then elevate what's happening here so that it can be replicated.
Make sure I see everybody's face. Really move your head a little bit forward.
I am Abby Passion, and we both work here at Roosevelt High School with Gear Up and the Near Peer Mentor Program. At the beginning of the year, I was trying to figure out, how do we want to do this unit on resistance. I had a really strict timeline of when I was supposed to get this unit done, and I was just afraid we weren't going to be able to have the time that we wanted to. Akash had the perfect idea for a workshop, doing an activity around I am poems, doing some identity writing, because it was something that he had done before. He was like, this was a really good activity that I did. I still have some examples of what I did or what students did in the past. We took a look at them. I was like, I think this fits our resistance unit really well, and yeah, we were able to work that in.
We've been so focused on just doing the work, trying to figure out what we're doing. We're figuring out the work, figuring out how to do it best. We've been focused on engaging folks, then focused on empowering folks to get more involved, etc. But where we have fallen short is making that visible and making the story something that is known to folks and helping everyone even understand what they're a part of.
Students see how we interact with one another, and they see the positive vibe and the good energy that we have working with each other, and they bounce that right back to us too.
If we do all of this and then we just elevate, the 30 students in this classroom, we elevate this process they've experienced in their growth and development, and we celebrate and we have a party, etc., then what happens? Where does that go? So how are we as a program, as an institution, how are we elevating those practices? And I think we are moving toward the elevation state of elevating a set of practices that have been developed and evolved over years to arrive at a place where we can actually start to shift and penetrate this very old kind of static educational system.
Hi, my name is Marianne Jama. I'm Maria Hussein, and we are seniors at Roosevelt High School. Some things that our mentors do on a daily basis is check up on us and see how we're doing, and also just kind of asking us how everything's going, especially along the lines of the class, what we're learning and how they can support us. Yeah, and making sure if we also need anything outside of the classroom.
What other ones did you say administration? Oh yeah, with Ms. PA.
Definitely gives us that bond and them understanding us on a level because we're kind of closer in age.
Being a parent at this school, to being a student union advisor, to being a teacher for over a decade here, we have seen so many changes. I get to be in the classroom with teachers that I love and respect. The bitter part of it is knowing that the Gear Up year is coming to a close.
And it makes me feel good when Gear Up members and mentors come to my workshops and the events I did, because Maria and her family came to the community lunch I did, and it was really nice. It made me feel so good. you and Mateo came to my workshops made me feel really good. I feel like I'm getting teary-eyed because I love that support. Now I'm starting to feel the love and support. And it kind of breaks my heart to a certain extent because it's like, Gear Up may be in it. And it's just like, it's sad, you know, it hits me in my soul, you know.
My hope is that we can close out the existing grant with a sense of connection, clarity, and solidarity around who we are as individuals and a collective in this work, and that we can just close feeling good. And that's part of the impetus for the summer program. Like, let's close really rooted in why we're doing this work to begin with, which is around the students, so that in the future, whether in the grant that we're waiting to hear back from or in another iteration, we have the concrete kind of structures that we can build from.
I just hope that the practices of Gear Up, so investing in our community, I hope that that continues on, regardless if there's a mentor program or not, because we're helping our future leaders, and so the more we love and honor and invest in them to come back to serve our community, I think I want to see that continue on and any variations. I want to see the investment and love and care for our teachers. It is so crucial right now to make sure that our teachers feel valued, and I have been really grateful to see a lot of great teachers come through the program and have felt that their practices have changed or transformed or has influenced just even an inch of their practices. And I'd love to see teachers continue to grow in that way.
My first hope is that somehow funding will become accessible and that the program just doesn't totally disappear. There will be ways still for more recent high school graduates and like teachers ourselves to be part of the classroom community and to share their perspective with our students.
I hope that we retain connections to one another, because I think that sometimes connections that are born out of a work environment can be easy to sort of dissipate without the constant engagement. But I still ascribe to the community development value, which is that people of aligned values and vision for what the world can be like need to maintain connections.
My hopes for the future for Gear Up is it doesn't end and they have unlimited funding, so everybody don't have to worry about a job. Everything will be transparent, no hidden agendas, just smooth sailing, and it keeps being what it is and continue to improve, keeps getting better, and keep helping students and families. That we can have all the schools and to build, and it just grows, just like for Gear Up, and can't have build without Gear Up. I just hope the best. All I can do is pray,
I know things are changing for the future, and I do hope that we keep the teachers that have led the fight for social justice, for equity, for our North Portland community for so long. I hope they are nourished and loved, amplified, and empowered here at the school for years to come, so that they can continue to love up the next generation of young people that are going to come up this way.
When people ask me about what is a near peer mentor, colleagues will be like, who are they? And they hear about it and everybody's like, I want one. I want some cool, young, engaged person to hang out and be part of our classroom and help me be more reflective and bounce ideas. Everybody who's ever heard about it has been like, that sounds amazing. And so it would be an absolute shame for it to be gone.
I hope that we continue to love and care in our teachers, and then to just involve our families, making sure that families are part of a student's journey, and regardless of what age they are,
I think if we're able to have those practices live on and people who knew of Gear Up, who remembered Gear Up, I think that makes me really grateful, and I think that will make my heart really full.
My hope is that the folks who in the future would want to be a part of a program like this will find other ways to engage with schools. I hope that there will be some more doors or windows that open to invite folks in our community to be part of our classrooms, and like long term, not like guest speakers, but like be able to be part of the community.
If we don't get the grant, my hopes is that at least the students that we are able to serve and the students that everybody has built relationships with will always remember Gear Up as like a part of their life journey. The impact that all the mentors, all the Gear Up staffs has ever made on the students, the trips that they've taken, that at least Gear Up has made an impact, and that a lot of our partner teachers will continue to use the practices that they've learned.
I feel the energy in this room of the students that came before our current seniors, and they met every ounce of the energy that they left behind, that we fight for ourselves and for each other during times that justice is challenged and anyone's existence and acknowledgement is ever questioned. I hope our young people in this building currently and the ones that are coming up next will always know that, because that kind of institutional history, if it is erased, it will change our community's identity. So documentaries like this are really important to remember that there were folks that came before who continue to fight, not for their sake, but for the next generation.
If we do get another grant, my hope is that we can hit the ground running and really use what we have built to soften the blow that districts in our region are experiencing. And if we can create some opportunities for young people, near-peer mentors, to help, again, support classroom environments in the way that they have been doing in PPS, and we have coaches who can support teachers, that kind of building and evolving now in 5 new districts could be really powerful. I mean, I think that's a whole other documentary.
In your own words, can you tell me what it means to be a mentor?
I think being a mentor is way more than just like building connections with the student. It is making sure that the student has support to do their best.
It's such a pivotal moment in everybody's life, your teenage years.
Being a mentor means being an advocate and a leader for the students that I serve.
So for me to come back and like be in the community again, kind of giving back, it makes me feel proud.
Having the ability to walk alongside people in that time and help them through hardships and celebrate successes with them is what really makes a mentor.
My main thing about being a mentor is making sure everybody's voice is heard.
It's a way of giving back to my community and serving the people that served me.
Like, it's my community, you know, like we should be lifting each other up.
It's a mixed bag, but I definitely have a lot of joy because of this job, so.
You know, whenever I'm talking to people about work, I always phrase my job not as my job, but something that I love to do.